Commissioners Monthly Update. My name is Pat Fabian, Chairman of the Armstrong County Board of Commissioners.
My name is Jason Renshaw, one of your Armstrong County Commissioners.
I'm George Sculley, Armstrong County Commissioner.
I'm Jennifer Bellis, Director of Elections.
So we have a special guest with us today, Jennifer Bellis from the Voters and Elections Department. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you.
First time with us.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jen, just wanted to introduce the taxpayers, the viewers, to you and your department this month. So, how long have you been in the elections and voter registration?
I started in September of 2015 in the Elections and Voter Registration Office, but I've been a county employee since, actually, last Monday was my 17th. I started my 17th year. I worked for 15 years in the planning office, so yeah. But I've only been here in the elections office for about a year and a half.
So just out of curiosity, I guess what have been some of your challenges or being new to that, maybe hurdles?
Can honestly say I never realized, I guess, all that is entailed in putting together an election. It is definitely an eye-opener. Last year, my first presidential, definitely a very, very much so an eye-opener. It's extremely busy, a lot of voter registrations, a lot more questions, just busier in general. This year, my first municipal, going through the whole petition process. I had not gone through that before I was hired in the elections office, so definitely that was something. Biggest challenge, I guess, is poll workers, in the fact finding them. We have a great group that a lot of them have done it for years, but there are definitely precincts and municipalities that we don't have, and we have to appoint or assign people to work. But that's definitely, I think, one of the biggest challenges is getting poll workers to work on election day. It's a very long day. It's a tedious day, but that's the biggest, I'd say, challenge is finding them. I had a cancellation today already, so a week away, and I'm trying to find, scrambled to try and find people to fill in. So that's
How
the biggest
many
challenge.
precincts are there voting places?
We have 68 precincts that we would have to assign. The best is to have 5 poll workers per precinct. We can do it with 4. Presidentials, you definitely want to make sure that you have your 5 because it's definitely busier. But in some of the later election years, this being one of them, a municipal year, we could get away with 4. But 68 precincts. Some precincts vote in the same polling place. I know South Buffalo does. There's 2 in Ford City that vote in the same. But you still have your election boards per precinct. So the polling place may be the same, but they have separate precincts.
Yeah, South Buffalo has the same location, but there's 2.
Two.
separate
They're separated,
polling,
yeah.
and they're separate people.
Yeah.
They're east and west.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
big.
And why is that? I'm assuming it's based on voters and the number of voters in that area.
Yeah, the election code stipulates the maximum number of voters per precinct. The last change that was done, I believe, was in 2010, where we eliminated some precincts. There may be some that we can merge and eliminate, but then you may end up with where we would have to split some of the bigger precincts. We have some that are just growing exponentially. So.
Well, let me ask you this, Jen. I heard you have a need for poll workers. Are they paid?
They are paid
for that day, the election day.
They are paid. That's depending on the number of votes that are cast per day. It's split under 150 to 500, and then 501 over. So obviously, some of the smaller precincts, you're never going to get to that larger amount. But yeah, it ranges anywhere from $90 to $115 per election. And they're paid, but it's a very long day. They're there from 6 in the morning until all of the final paperwork is completed. So polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And so they're there roughly from 6 to 9. Some are bigger.
What's the most hectic period, not necessarily in that day, but in the whole process of putting together an election?
Where does it? After we have the ballot finalized, and we get that portion of the work done, I guess is the busiest. We have to program the encoders, which is what holds the ballot on there when the poll workers put the ballot on the voter access card and give it to the voter. We have to program those. You have to do logic and accuracy testing on all of our machines, and we have 200 plus machines that go out to the precinct. So every one of them is tested to ensure that the vote that's cast is the vote that's recorded. So every one of those is done. So probably about a month before is the busiest time, and then you have to make all of your copies and the sample ballots and the specimen ballot or emergency ballots and that, all of
there are
those that are going out to
complications.
the precincts. So.
I think, was it last year you had some complications with the ballot itself, like on who was permitted to be on the ballot, and there had to be a ruling by the state?
That is another issue. Now, this municipal election, we didn't seem to have as many, didn't seem to be any court cases that held it up. Last year, there were court cases that you had to wait for a court's ruling as to whether or not a candidate was going to be on the ballot or not. That tends to hold things up. And the longer you wait, the less time it is for us to get everything prepared to send out, because obviously there's a deadline. Everything has to be ready by a certain date. But yeah, we didn't seem to have any holdups this time. Last year, there were in the primary. There was definitely
Your
a hang up.
first time.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
had
it
to deal
was.
with it.
Yeah, so it delayed things, but we worked through it and we got through it, and we moved pretty well.
I was going to ask you a question. I get a lot of, I worked the polls for like 6 years as a constable just for that day, so I've been there from 6 to 9 and helping tear it down. It's a long day.
It is a very
Yeah.
long day.
You're not allowed to talk in there, by the way, which is tough.
No electioneering inside the polls.
I got yelled at a few times.
No.
But anyway, I learned my lesson. What I was getting at, there's a lot of questions I had when I was there with the monitors. I don't know if you could help explain them. And I even asked you some of these prior, like, people say, hey, I hit this button here and it didn't register it here. Is there any tips you could tell them? Because I heard one tip. You tell me if this is just like one of those fables that you don't punch the screen, you just tap it.
No, yes.
Anything we could tell the voters out
That's-
there now to, hey,
Yeah.
this is how you operate the machine. If something happens, these are things to look forward to ease them. Because you know how it is. Computers right now, I mean, I got my new VCR the other day. I'm still like old school, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Program the clock, you know what I mean? I was getting that was tough to do back in the 80s. So, we have a voting machine. So sometimes people have a little bit of a concern with technology and the authenticity of it. So if there's anything you tell them to help us ease their mind.
It is a touch screen. The machines are touch screen, so you don't have to push hard. You don't have to punch very lightly. We've given supplies to each of the precincts. The back of a pen cap will work. The oils on your fingers, a lot of times you'll get women that'll come in and have just put lotion on, and that touches. So that can affect the calibration of the machine. So we've instructed our poll workers that if they have extra pens, lay them there on the machines if they can use that, or the back of a pencil.
Yes.
And you don't have to hit the X or the box. You can hit anywhere in that. You could hit the candidate's name, and it'll register that name. But no, you don't have to punch. You don't have to. They are
Excellent question, though.
they are older machines. We do take care of them as best we can. We update and replace as much as we can. But obviously, they're expensive. Finances, as of right now, nothing's been formally certified at the state level for new machines.
I was gonna ask
So we
about
are
that.
still waiting on that.
Yeah.
But eventually, it will come a
Yeah.
time where we will have to update. But
So if somebody had a concern when they're voting there, what's the best advice you give them at that time and moment? Like, let's say there was an issue, hey, I think this thing's screwing up. What do they do?
okay, if they are hitting something, a candidate's name, and for whatever reason it's not registering, you can always let it time out. It takes 2 minutes for the machine to time out. And you'll get a big yellow screen, and it'll count down in red, 30, and it'll tell you, this machine has been inactive or whatever. And you can tell the poll worker, okay, I'm going to let this time out, and I'd like to be reissued a card. The poll workers are instructed, they verify that machine, that no vote was cast on that machine, and then they verify that by putting that same voter access card, and it'll say that this vote or this ballot has been canceled, and then they can reissue and move to a different machine if that's what you so choose. But you do get and you do get a review screen too. So after you cast your ballot and you hit next, it gives you the review screen.
Yeah.
We urge the voters, make sure that you're reviewing that to make sure that that is exactly how you want it. And you have to hit the cast ballot button twice in order for it to cast. But if there are issues, you know, you want to bring it up with your election board.
Well, is that something maybe you mentioned about a pen or eraser? Is that something maybe the county could do to maybe get something attached to it? You know, like your iPads have
We've
those
talked
special-
about
You know, to help with the-
stylus. I've looked
yeah.
at the pricing for stylus pens. Those would be something that we could do. The issue is where are we going to attach it? Because they could walk. You know, it's nothing for somebody to just, even for a pen, to take it, you know, carry it off
We
it.
do
And
like the doctor's office or someplace with the big metal little fancy chain
Yeah.
that hangs down or something. I don't know, something that we might.
we have looked at.
Yeah,
I know I've looked
okay.
at pricing to see if we could purchase, because I do have a couple precincts that ask. But the pencil eraser, or the pen cap, or a pencil with an eraser works at this point pretty well on that. And it just saves, if you don't use your fingers, it saves the oils on the screens. And we've told the poll workers, you know, you can clean that periodically through the day,
Yeah, okay.
just to help.
So I guess the biggest thing is let people know we're aware of this and we're looking into maybe some long-term solutions, but right now, and maybe we could hand out I voted pencils.
Yeah.
Instead of
There-
stickers or
instead of
something.
stickers,
Before
yeah.
you vote, yeah, before
Yeah.
you vote, you know?
Yeah.
Double erasers, don't.
Yeah, double erasers,
Yeah.
yeah, those are for mistakes
Yeah.
only. You
And
know.
not that we're not looking into down the road. I know
Yeah.
the vendors have done presentations. I know at our conference last year, we had different vendors come in and show us items that are coming down the pipeline, but they all have to be certified. They have to be
Yeah.
certified at the state level and then also at the federal level in order for anything new to be able to even be purchased
Yeah.
at this point. So
It is likely, though, that we're going to be mandated, is it not?
most likely.
To change machines.
Right,
to
and
update.
now, and that's the thing, these machines, there were grant funds. Are there gonna be grant funds? That's completely, at this point, unknown. But just, we are, you know, they're aging. They're like any
Yeah.
type of computer, or, you know, they are aging. We do take care of them, like I said, and our machine person, he is wonderful. He knows those machines inside and out, and he does his best to keep them in tip-top shape, and is very good at telling me, okay, this needs replaced, or, you know. And after the primary last year, we had issues with encoders, so we purchased new encoders for the precinct. So, you know, we are aware, and we have been updating what we can, but, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice someday if they would have one that would be kind of a checks and balance where you have the technology of the computer, but also with the old paper trail. You know, like you kind of punch a metal
Yeah.
pin through something that would recognize that it was punching this, and then you could,
That
you know, it's-
tangible.
yeah, so you have
Yeah.
something just in case that, you know, I mean, you could look at a computer going down, but you could also look at like, hey, if something happened, it gets dropped, or you know, I don't know, who knows? You
I know at the
never-
state level, they are doing, is a reform
Yeah.
committee being, you know, formed, and they are looking at, they're talking with some of my colleagues in other counties as on that committee. So I know they are looking into that and addressing some of the issues that we've had.
Do you have a state association that you work with at all?
A forum of the other election directors across the state, and I will say are very helpful. The past election director who was here for years, I still use her
Use-
when I can. Yeah, so it's definitely, they're a good group. They're very well informed, and you know, we can post a question out there, and within 5 minutes I have 10 answers, you know, from different election directors. So it's a very good group, and the state's wonderful. I haven't had any issues with the state.
Good.
So if we have any questions that are, you know, at the county level, you know, I can always pose that to the state, and they're helpful.
Well, in pulling off election night, witnessing it, the three of us as election board members, is truly a team effort from yourself and Jeff, who runs the machines, to Public Works and the poll workers. It truly does take a team to pull off this entire election.
I can
day.
honestly say I never realized the number of people it entailed. You know, we have 50 plus county employees that come in on election night after the end of the day to help check in the poll workers that are bringing in their returns, and coordinating the collection of supplies that are, you know, and the machines. And I have a core group that, you know, are uploading the memory cards, and we're transmitting that information to IT so that they can get it on our website, and so
Right.
that they can get it to the states. And Other groups that are opening our absentees to be counted. And
Yeah.
so it is definitely a team effort. And I have a lot of good people that have been doing it for years, and I'm thankful that they've stayed on and have helped, because they've helped me, just letting me know, the steps and everything that needs to be done. But yeah.
I think the last question I have before we move on to the upcoming elections here next week, which is May 16th, is the need for poll workers. So if someone is interested in being a poll worker, how old do you have to be? What are some of those requirements, and who should they contact?
18 years old, registered voter, so that's what we're looking for. Definitely, you could call, email. My email is on the webpage. You can email me and let me know what precinct. If you're willing to travel, if you're not, like I said, there's some precincts in which we're fully staffed, and I have help that's there, or that election board finds or has a core group that if one of their election board members can't make it, they know people that will fill in. Like I said, I have some precincts in which we don't have any poll workers, or very few. If they're willing to travel and go outside of their precinct, is a big thing. And if you do that, we obviously provide you an absentee ballot, because you're not permitted to leave the polls that day. So call my office, email me, and we'll put you on a list and give you a call.
Would you mind giving out your office number?
Yeah, 724-548-3222 is the office number. And if I'm not there, just leave a message, and I'll give you a call back.
All right.
That'd be something that'd be great for even some high school students just coming and graduating, or even if they're 18 in the general election, maybe
Definitely.
reach out in touch with some of them. I mean, I know they're going to have school that day, but if they're in a special organization, like some maybe a political group, or just interested in that.
Government class. Or something.
Government class,
Right.
maybe like some of these social groups that they have, like the key clubs and different things to help out
Lions
the
clubs,
community.
yeah.
It's a chance for them maybe to even get paid and donate their time, or whatever, how it would work.
It's a very good point.
And get some experience, because I know I learned a lot just in just like you said, I mean, until you're part of the process.
Right.
I mean, just from sitting there from the constable and seeing, I load up all these cars and they take the computers away, and I've never seen the other end of it. Now I see the other end of it.
Yeah.
Or there's a whole operation, you bring them in, and it's just like running through the gauntlet.
They have it is a
mean,
very delineated system.
Yeah.
Yes, you go to step one, and it works.
Yeah, I was
and
impressed.
yeah.
You got it good. You guys do good work there. And I have more confidence, not that I didn't have it before, but knowing that the machines, and you hear all these things now, actually witnessing it and seeing how they go, I think it's been one of those things that gives you a little more confidence, saying, okay, yeah, it works. It's
Right.
computers.
You hear all the
I'm
checks
just
are in
kind of
place.
old school a little bit, it's like, yeah, these things, you hear all these rumor mills and all this stuff out
Sure.
there, and until you're part of it, then you can say, okay, these things, there's a couple little things we have to look for, but there's nothing
Right.
that's outrageously.
And I know the concern was during the last election, the machines and what, they are all tested. Every one of them is tested. At the opening of the day, the poll workers, when they turn them on, a zero report prints out. The poll workers verify that every vote on there is at a zero. They sign off on it. And at the end of the night, they get the last report. So all of that's attached to that very first report, and that's what comes back to us. None of our machines are hooked up to the internet. The machine that creates our ballot is not hooked up to the internet. They're not permitted
Very
to.
good point.
Nothing.
So what you're saying is we have no connections to Russia?
No.
Okay.
That's what I was.
No. So
I was
but,
wondering.
yeah.
Somebody's got to throw that out
Yeah.
there. All right.
And the
so
machines don't
yeah.
even have an access. So, and they're under lock and key.
Good.
Yep.
But they're under lock and key.
Yeah.
The machines, limited access on who has access to that key. So everything. We've taken the precautions and following the law in regards to the machines. So,
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's talk about countywide races. We have some major races this year. Can you let our viewers know next week's the primary election, May 16th. Polls open at 7 a.m.
Right.
Can you go down through the ballot as far as the countywide races?
Yeah, we made the cut here. Put the
Biggest-
forms in correctly.
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
down to
Biggest-
really.
Biggest race, I guess, would be the Judge of Court of Common Pleas. That office is able to be cross-filed, so we have two candidates, and they're on both ballots, the Democrat and Republican. It's Chase McClister and Scott Andressi are running for that office. In your district attorney office, For the Republican ballot is Katie Charlton, and your Democratic candidate is Cindy Caleri. Sheriff is running unopposed on the Democratic ballot. That's Bill Rupert. Your existing one. County coroner on the Republican side is running unopposed. That's Brian Myers.
So if you're,
Yeah.
if you're a betting man, I put
And
them
you
on.
have local offices, so you'll have school director offices, your local councils, township supervisors, auditors, tax collectors, in some boroughs, mayors.
One district justice.
District justice yes, District Justice 4 has 4 candidates. Magisterial District 4 has 4 candidates.
Can you announce who those 4 candidates are? And
Yeah.
that's the Roll Valley office.
That is the Roll Valley office, and I apologize, I'll have to,
Correct.
Yeah.
these
Now,
are separated by precinct,
You
so.
mentioned too, the DA, while you're looking for that, this is the first time, I think, in county history that we have a DA, was that?
Oh,
I'd have to
wouldn't be
look.
surprised.
I think, because there's 2 running right now,
Yeah.
obviously, so you're gonna have one. I think I remember reading that somewhere.
That's a very good point.
I think,
Yeah.
because something, a milestone.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
It'll be the
Yeah.
first time
I'm
Armstrong
sure.
County has a female
Yeah.
Yeah,
district
it's
attorney.
gonna happen, because we
Yeah.
only have 2 ladies.
Yeah, exactly.
running,
That's
so, I mean,
inevitable.
I think any of these people
good.
running are very highly qualified people.
Mhm.
It's one of the toughest, I would say, looking at the candidates running for all the offices. I mean, everybody is qualified here, and everybody has experience. And it's just great to see everybody's desire to help the community that they live in too. So that's what it comes down to.
Right.
Right.
You know, people don't put your name on a ballot for anything else but to help out, and if you have an interest here. So it's just, it's, you know, kind of refreshing to see people still care, want to get out there and help out and do what they can for the community. So
Right.
that's me, the exciting part, just to let us know that, hey, people still. are out there
No,
wanting
too,
to-
there are some precincts in which there's no candidates filed for any of the offices that are up, so,
Well, that's good.
you know, write-ins are
No,
always
there's just a
possible.
few. There's just a
so-
few.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Yeah, but there are
Yeah.
write-in, you know, if you decide, you know, to write in for a position, you know.
Yeah, well, usually those do
sometimes.
get filled. I think sometimes.
Oh, yeah, they get appointed if nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Those areas there, I found out some of the ones just looking through the data and everything, some more rural areas and different areas where
remote.
people are,
Mhm.
you know, hey, I'm busy and different things. You know, there's a bigger population to pull from. So, and then they do appoint people, so you know they do get filled in. So somebody will take it, and maybe sometimes people. It is a complicated process. I don't want to say complicated, but there's a lot more than
It
just
is
saying.
a lot of steps.
Yeah, I think I might run for something. All right, fill out a form. I want to run for, mayor.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. You gotta have to get signatures, and you have to fill out your paperwork. You gotta,
Right.
let them know everything about you. So I think with that said, it's not just anybody can jump in. So maybe some people didn't take that into consideration.
But saying that, and all 3 of us have ran for election, I don't think either one of you would argue that it wasn't worth it. You know, I ran for township supervisor, Manor Township. Yes, there's some steps it takes, but it was worth it. And I guess what I want to say, especially to these communities, townships, and boroughs that have vacancies, if you're not happy with something, get out there, put your name on the ballot, and help your community. I would encourage anybody that has an interest in their municipality, township, or county, on any level, get involved in your community. We desperately need good people running, especially when there's vacancies that nobody is running for those seats. So I guess that's what I wanted to encourage people. If you're thinking about it, do it. Get out there and serve. It's definitely worth the while. So,
Well
Good.
stated.
Good.
I said well stated. I would agree. Yes.
You got the,
Yeah, Magisterial District Judge for Office 4. On the Republican ballot, it's Kevin McCausland, Randy Bowser, Kim Faringer, and Stephanie McFadden. Now, the Democratic side, they draw lots, so the names are reversed. It's the same people, but the names, they draw lots for ballot position in the primary. So it would be on the Democratic ballot, you're going to have Kevin McCausland, Stephanie McFadden, Randy Bowser, and Kim Faringer. That's how the lots
The
drew
old
whenever
ping
they
pong
drew their,
ball
yes,
method, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's one thing,
So.
I know most people would never find this out unless you run. Everything's so high-tech, every system is everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then we got down to the ballot position, they brought us all
Yeah.
in, and a bucket of ping pong balls, and they said,
In the-
pick out of here. And I'm
Pick
like,
out a
yeah.
number.
I'm like, wow.
In the
All right.
primary, when we
I
had
thought it'd been
yeah.
some statistical thing or some logical, well, not ping pong balls with numbers on it. You reach in there and pull it out and
Yeah.
get a number, like, there it is, so.
There you go.
Mine was
Yeah.
blank. I don't know what that meant.
That meant you were at the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah. B blank bottom. I don't know. That's what I thought it was.
B-side.
Yeah, B-side.
Yeah,
Whatever it is you're doing,
Yeah.
how about that, you know? So
I was
all right.
surprised too with that. So.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, you picked the number 1 ball if I remember correctly.
Well, I don't mean to brag, but yeah, right here, number 5.
Funny thing is, it
I
came
have
out.
a bronze ping pong ball at home with number 5 on it.
I remember when you picked it out with one finger, but like stuck to it somehow.
No, that was you. You had your gum on
Oh,
your
maybe
finger,
not.
and
I
then
don't
you
know.
reached in there because you didn't have my seat going and everything, and you tried to blame it on me.
That's how it
And then
was.
we
That's-
twisted it around to you.
Yeah, and
you
let's
know
just-
what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Mine was a
Cut that out.
What came out was a donation slip from a charity.
Out of your pocket.
Jen, anything else
I
you'd
don't
like to
know.
say about, the upcoming election that we didn't cover in this segment?
Just, it's your right, and it's a very important one, so get out and vote. You're open for, 13 hours, so definitely get out there and vote, and make a difference in your community, so.
I think everybody's, it's stuff that people sometimes don't understand, like, your vote doesn't count, different things. We hear that a lot, but I think the more people get out and vote, the more people that take action here, then, it gives you a voice. Even if it's just a one vote, hey, some of these races come down neck and neck, you never
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely.
You never know and everything, so it's,
Well, our primary on the last ballot, there was only 12 votes, I believe, between Commissioner Battaglia and Ms. Kirkpatrick. 12 votes over thousands.
yeah.
I mean, that's remarkable when you think about it, I think.
Yeah. So, now, if somebody would want to register to vote, what's the process for that, just in case somebody say, I'm
They
not
can do a
registered?
paper application. At this point, it is too late to register for this election, for the next week's election. The deadline was April 17th, but you are able to do it online at the state's website, which is www.d as in dog, o, s as in sam.pa.gov. When you get on their main page, under key services, it's online voter registration. So you can register to vote online. You can get an application if you call the office. I can mail you an application form. You can stop into the office and fill it out, and then we get it processed and you get issued your new card.
It's very simple, too. It's
It
very,
is, yes,
yeah,
it's not a very,
not complicated at all.
no.
I saw something in your office the other day that stuck out, was the 50, was the,
yeah.
The Voter Hall of Fame, and that
I
was
knew we had
prior
that.
to me being there.
that blew my mind. I looked at this list of
Yeah.
people. What are the requirements for that? Something to look forward to.
This is
folks.
incredible.
If you vote for 50 consecutive.
I believe that one was, they voted in 50 consecutive elections.
That's right.
Again, that was before me,
Yeah.
so I'm not 100% sure.
Well, that's fine. either
No,
way.
I remember
Okay.
roughly when that was put together. It was incredible, though.
Yeah.
But there's a very long
There's
list
a long list of
of,
people
yes.
on there. So I think if anybody has any questions about why
50.
you should vote, those are the people you need to call.
Right, and just an FYI, the deadline to apply for an absentee ballot is tomorrow by 5. It's probably too late for anything to be mailed to you, but if you stop into the office and fill out an absentee application, we can get you filled out and get your ballot there. The deadline to have any mailed ballots back in, anybody that's already received their ballot, is by Friday at 5. So just an FYI, in order
Yeah.
for your vote to be counted.
D-Day is coming.
It is.
Well, on behalf of all the commissioners here and
Yeah.
Jen, we wish all the candidates much success and luck next Tuesday. You guys will surely confirm that it's not an easy process, these
No.
elections, especially when you're running countywide, or they're hard on you, they're hard on your family, but you do it for a reason.
Yeah.
So, and good luck to all those candidates next week.
Yeah.
And just one more announcement, the commissioners will not do another monthly update until August of 2017. Next month being June, the Armstrong High School students will be dismissed early the first week. I'm not sure what the date is, early June, and then we will be back in August to give an update from June, July, and the beginning of August. So.
And I'd like to, just on behalf of the board, also thank you for the work that you've done. Wendy Buzzard done that for so many years, and she knew it like the back of her hand.
She did.
And she actually texted me after the last election and said that you deserve a lot of credit for the job you did under the conditions especially. And that's coming from somebody that did it for 20-something years?
30 plus, I believe.
30,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if all 30 were in that one department.
I'm not sure, and that could
But,
be, yeah.
I mean, she had it down to a science, and for you to step into such a complicated situation, and she did obviously a great job in training you too.
Oh, yeah, and like I said, I still give her questions and call her and, you know,
We
ask for
appreciate
help
that.
all the time, and she is 100% willing to give me any type of pointers. But like you said, she had it down to a well-oiled machine, so I really didn't have anything to recreate because she had the process down and she simplified it as much as it could be simplified, and then for the work. So yeah, I have big shoes to fill with her. So yeah.
Well, she thinks you're doing
Very
a great
grateful.
job. so.
Thanks.
All right, well, thank you, and until August.